In this lesson, I'm going to write a Python program to implement a queue using a list data structure. At the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand what is queue data structure, will able to know and perform operation on queue like in queue or insertion in queue, dequeue or deletion in queue, and able to know what is front and rear in queue. We're able to use append operation for adding or insertion of item in queue, deleting item from queue using pop method of list object. So we will use in this exercise or in this lesson we will use list data type or list data structure to implement the queue. Okay, now question is what is queue? Okay, anything arranged from like this in this manner, like somebody like if you notice that if you're going to buy railway reservation ticket, we have and there is a and counter and the person who in the line is called queue, who in the first will get the ticket first. Similarly, the person who is second will get the second ticket, receive the ticket from railway station counter on the second instant. Similarly, third and so. So this is basically called this arrangement of the people in this such a manner is called queue of railway reservation system. We can say that queue of railway reservation system, queue of railway system where we go and buy the ticket in this manner that the person who first in the queue will receive the ticket first, person who is second in the queue will receive the ticket first, and the person who in the last in the queue will receive the ticket first. So here this section of the queue, that is the first person is called, and the first person is called queue first person is called the queue first, and there they get the ticket is called front, and from then the section of the queue where they enter in the queue is called rear. Okay, so there are two sections in the queue. If you I talk about like queue in this way, like here, queue of like 5. Okay, so 5 item, and the queue moving from in this direction, like right. Then this section is called front of queue, and this section where people enter is called rear of queue. Okay, now insertion item in the queue is called in queue or insertion in queue, right? If somebody or something is put in the queue like this one, we'll call insert one item in the queue or in Q1. Similarly in Q2, similarly in Q3, similarly in Q4, similarly in Q5. When we get this item or delete this item, this is called DQ of 1 from DQ of 2, DQ of 3, DQ of 4. Now InQ and DQ, these are the two operations. But here is another condition that you can DQ from front and UQ InQ from rear. That is, you can perform the insertion from rear end of the queue and deletion from front section of the queue. Okay, so this there are two factors that are two flag you need to maintain, that is front and rear in queue. If you note in queue operation, so front used for the deletion and rear used for the insertion. Okay, here you can see that I use declare a function list queue list and adding the item one by one over here, and then we are removing or popping the item or dequeue item one by one from the queue using list. So we have used list append method and list pop method for getting it. But in this case here, you notice that we will use only the pop with indexing, that is for indexing on first, that is whatever the item that will be on the rear, that will be removed. So what happened when any insertion and deletion happen, this pointer reset, the pointer rear, and the pointer front and the pointer rear always resets, because the queue size of queue is increase and decrease. Okay, so this is the as you know that the queue data structure provide a way to store your data and manage your data in the queue format, that is first in first out format, like a FIFO. So if I say that write a program to implement the FIFO, it means that you need to implement the queue data structure. Okay, and uh, you have to like perform the every time. Here you notice in the code that I'm popping the item only for the indexation on index of first, that is front. Okay, and once the front any item reset, the rear will be increased. When item deleted, the front will be decreased. That is, when the front is like 5, then it will become to the 3 4, then 3 2 1, like this way. So let's go and write this program. That is, with the help of queue list, we will be add the item A, B, C, D, E, F or something or else, and then we will popping one by one from the on the single position, that is on the rear position, sorry, on the front position. So let's jump in the Visual Studio Code and write this program. Visual Studio Code has been ready. So now it's time to write this program. So first line will be the comment of the program. So comment would be queue implementation using list. Okay, so first thing that I will be declaring queue list. Okay, that is empty list. We will add the item in this list on runtime. So what I'll do, I'll just have like adding the item in the queue list. So there is a method called append that allow us to add the method. So what I'll do, I adding a, right, and similarly we will have like a 5 data item to be added. So what will happen, this is called insertion or in queue in the queue, right? In queue in the queue we are doing now. So I am adding 5 item A, B, C, sorry, C. You can take as a input from runtime or from like file, get from file data and all the stuff. Now let's print this queue and how queue look like. So what I'll do, I'll just queue list and then print. So it will give me the value of queue. Okay, queue after insertion. Okay, then use a formatted expression because we have to print the value. We have to print the value object variable or object value. Now what we'll do, we will be now all the item has been inserted in the queue, like from the insert in the queue. Now it's time to removing the item of the queue. So what I'll do, there will be the method pop. If you notice that in the stack implementation I did not use any indexing position of the queue, but in this time my position will be the fixed constant, that is 0, and from there every item will be removed. Okay, now we will declare a variable str that will be used to fetch that will use to keep the deleted item or dequeue item from the queue. Okay, so my queue list dot pop and like 0. So this position will be always constant. So if you notice that although all the item will be on a different position, like A on the first, B on the second, C on the third, and D on the fourth, and E on the fifth, but I will use this pop 0. That is, what will happen? The queue will be shrink one by one, and then we will be removing that. Like once item A will be removed because it is the first item in the queue, then what will happen? Now the queue size will become the 4, and that on at the front front area or the front flag of the queue will be the B, at the B, and the rear will be E. Okay, once I remove the B by using the pop of 0, then the queue at the front, the front item of the queue will be C and the rear will be E. So in this way we will be doing this queue implementation. Now print item, like first I will print the queue item, queue remove item, call str, right, and the queue status, and queue is will be the queue, okay, queue list, right, and that's it. So what I do, I just copy this statement 4 times more because we have to remove the 4 item. Again I did the mistake, like I just have, so we have like 3 4, okay, one more, 5, all items has been removed, right? Now we'll print the final queue, then it will be like, okay, now it's time to run this program and see the output, how it looks like. There is error at line number 12. So what it is, oh, I did a similar kind of mistake which I made in the right. You can see here that queue after implementation A, B, C, D, and queue after implementation D, C, D. Now I'm removing the item B, that will be key, and then at the last E. So this way we implement the queue. That the trick of this queue data structure implementation is the front and rear. That is, the item removed position would be the front, and item insertion position would be the rear. And the concept is last in first out, but in case of a stack is last in first out. Okay, so thanks for watching. Let's move to the next lesson.